talking about some terminology. So special education needs, as I said, would look at the supports and services that a child needs based on their physical, cognitive, or emotional challenges. Now, when we consider the classroom here in Trinidad and Tobago, and a child being included in the classroom, oftentimes that special education need is because of some sort of learning challenge. They go together. And so some of our children who have developmental disorders, such as Down syndrome or chronic illnesses, you know, a child who may have a bowel challenge or may have acute asthma, may also be experiencing learning challenges because of the amount of time they are out of school. Additionally, we have some children who have mental health challenges. So, and then we have children who have behavior challenges. Some of them have a mix of all, and they present themselves to families who struggle to figure out how is my child? And I know that we have two parents on with us. How is my child going to access education? How is my child going to thrive in an early childhood setting, in a primary school setting? The B word comes up a lot right now because of the challenges that some of our children have. Is my child going to be bullied? I don't want my child to be bullied because of his special need. So let's continue this conversation, looking at the different types of needs. Now, I see some of my students here, and I see some parents here. So for some people, this is just like, okay, I could give this presentation. I could tell you all about some of these things. So I'm not going to put my students, my past students, because there are several of them are people who are graduating. I'm not going to put them on the spot. But when we consider the terminology, we could sometimes group disabilities. So we could look at physical impairments, developmental disabilities, and we could say, for the physical impairments, we could see that, you know, you could often see that. A child with a developmental disability, more often than not, you could see it. It's a child who may be 5 years old, but when you look at the child, you're thinking, could be more than one. Or, you know, we say sometimes, something not right. Something not right. And sometimes we see that with the children who have intellectual disabilities as well. However, those intellectual disabilities, like other invisible disabilities, and I'll talk about them just now, sometimes don't manifest themselves. The persons look, you know, we talk about normal, and this normal just really doesn't exist. And then we have sensory impairments, vision and hearing, persons who are not able to see, not able to hear. And so we're going to do a little activity. I would like you at this time to cover your ear, this is my right hand, cover your right ear, and if you can, cover your left eye. So as I continue my show, is anything that for you is becoming challenging? But shake your head. Let me change my screen to see if I can. Is there anything, is it all the same for you? Don't move your hands, just shake your head if it's all the same. No, it's not all the same. Okay, I see people shaking their head, those who have cameras on. Thank you so much for playing along. We're gonna change it now. I want you, before we go on, we have two more things to discuss. Cover both ears. And place your hands all the way on. Today, as we continue our conversation, we are going to be moving on to talk about some of the causes of disabilities. Okay, you can stop, move your hands. Did you all hear what I said? Did anybody hear? I'm going to take that as a no. Any responses? And no, Ms. Sinanan says no. Just a quick simulation. I attempted to speak almost at the regular sound. Many of our children, that was just covering our ears. Yes?
So
When
more
we
people are
consider,
saying no.
yes, thank you.
Yes.
When we consider a hearing impairment, consider moving through your life and you're not getting feedback from others. And so persons who have hearing impairments, when we consider particularly our children with hearing impairments, things that we take for granted. Throughout Trinidad and Tobago, the South at least, there was some high winds this morning. I sleep very soundly and it woke me up. Children who, parents, adults, we need to look out for them because they may not hear those things that we would take for granted to let us know there's danger or something is happening. Now I want to talk about the invisible disabilities. And so in 2018, I think it is, I did a presentation for UNESCO and CREDI, and I spoke of invisible disabilities. And I recall people saying, well, you know, never heard the term before. And now I hear it being used often. So persons with dyslexia, dysgraphia, etc., we don't see them and know that they have these disabilities. Our young children, little babies who are going to preschool and so on, we don't know that they are dyslexic because they're learning the alphabet real good and telling us. And they may learn cat and bat and so on and reading really good. And then we start saying when they reach in standard 3, or maybe standard 1, when they are required to read for themselves. I don't know what our teacher doing, you know, because my child was reading good all along. I don't know what that school doing. And then we have those psychological and neurological disabilities, as I shared in the beginning. Lots of children who are manifesting with autism and different types of neurological challenges.